Women have always faced discrimination in sports, and while many advancements have been made, there is still not a level playing field between men and women. For instance, years ago, women were not even allowed to be involved in sports, but now girls of all ages can participate, and there are professional women's teams and counterpart with men's teams in almost all sports. Still, there is not complete equality though. Women work just as hard as men, but they still get paid a significantly less amount. The main arguments made in an attempt to justify the discriminative wage gap is that women's sports are boring, so they do not bring in as much money, that women are simply not as good as men, and that sports were just made for men. However, there are no credible reasons for the U.S. women's national team to be paid less than the men's team, since the women's team is far more successful. They have proven that they can bring in an equal and even a greater amount of revenue for the U.S. Soccer Federation, and they are willing to take a stand to show the Federation they belong in sports just as much as men do. One main argument made in an attempt to defend the fact that female athletes are paid less than male athletes is that they are just not as good at sports. But the U.S. women's national team continues to tear this argument apart more and more as the years go on. The men's team have never won a World Cup or an Olympic gold medal, while the women's team holds a record 3 World Cup championships and 4 Olympic gold medals. Due to all of this, the women's team is ranked first in the world, whereas the men's team is ranked 30th. Yet, the top female soccer player earns $177,831 less, or only 14.4% of what the average men earn. The extreme difference in money earned was shown in the 2015 FIFA World Cup, where the women received $2 million for their first-place finish, in comparison to the $9 million made by the men for losing in round 16. Another argument made is that the women bring in a significantly less amount of revenue for the U.S. Soccer Federation and are paid accordingly. But the women's team has shown that they are capable of bringing in just as much and sometimes even more money than the men's team. In 2015, the Women's World Cup final on Sunday was seen by 25.4 million viewers on Fox, which set the record for the most viewed soccer game, men or women, in the U.S. Also in 2015, the women brought in $17 million profit for the federation, while the men's team lost $2 million in profit. This still did not change anything. The women's team brought in $20 million more than the men's team, but nothing at all changed with their pay. Women still earn a quarter of the men's salary. This shows that women are able to stand in the same spotlight as men, and their income should tell the same story. Women have fought to prove that they deserve everything the men do, and now they are presenting these things to the U.S. Soccer Federation head-on. Still, no changes were made, so they went a step further and had all 28 members of the team come together to file a gender discrimination lawsuit this year. These athletes will not stop fighting for justice until they succeed, just as the tragic heroine Antigone in the play Antigone by Sophocles did not. Much like Antigone, these women will not listen to the negative voices that try to suppress them by saying they are only women, they cannot fight with men. They don't believe it is dangerous to always be meddling, because it is the people who say that they are helpless and must yield to those in authority who will never see their dreams of justice and equality come to life. Female athletes have always been discriminated against in sports, but that does not mean it is right. The balance is shifting, and women are beginning to rise up and demand equality. The traditional standards set for women are being broken, and the Federation needs to keep up with the new standards being set. Wages should be based on current revenue, talent, and success, not on traditional views that women are not and can never be as strong as men. This is not just up to professional female athletes to take charge of, it's up to all of us. By attending more women's sports events, or even just encouraging young female athletes not to let society tell them the limit of their potential, the world will see a change.